permission, so I'll start recording. Okay, just a second. Okay, so yesterday we did POM1 style, that is object repository, where what we did is for a particular page we defined all the possible web elements and then initialize them on the in the constructor, and then in the class where we want to use it, we called those methods, call those web elements one by one and perform the operation whatever we wanted. Okay, then we saw POM2 style. In POM2 style of coding, what we did was, uh, let me open the POM2 style. In POM2 style, not only the web elements were defined, but also whatever are the possible methods like search item, or whatever you can think of can happen on a page. I defined all of those also, and in its demo class we were just calling the method. Okay, one more point here you can notice that when I'm calling through this POM1 style, so the elements which I'm accessing, which I want, I'm accessing through that page dot element, whereas in POM2, when we are calling, we are just calling the methods. Okay, so it's like an abstraction where we are not nothing is being visible, only functionality is visible. Like the functionality was search item, so I did the search, whereas in POM1 style the complete functionality is exposed. Okay, even the web elements are exposed because all those web elements are public. Okay, but in this, all my web elements are private, only functionality is visible to us, even in the code inside it is not visible. Okay, benefit is in second way, if somebody who does not have any experience in Java or don't have much experience in Java can also use this, because we just have to access methods, rest everything is already written inside. Okay, uh, Arun, you're saying not audible. Guys, can you hear me? Others can hear? Let me reply him. Okay. So we were discussing about this difference between POM1 and POM2 style. Now I'll start with the third one, which is enhanced POM. Uh, so let me quickly open the uh, article. Okay. Arun, can you hear now? Can you hear now, Arun? Okay. So I'm just starting with POM3 style. So let me go to Selenium tutorials. Okay, here is the enhanced page object model, which is page factory. Okay, so page factory is an enhanced way of writing POM, a design pattern. In page factory, web elements are identified using annotations called @findBy. Till now we were identifying normally, but now for this for the page factory you have to use an annotation called @findBy. I'll show you how to do that. It supports all the identifiers and locators, ID, name, class name, tag name, CSS selector and all. Okay, rest everything is same. So let me just demo it and then we'll discuss about the remaining part. Okay, there was one limitation which we studied in POM2. This POM3 is an answer to that limitation, so we'll discuss about that also. Okay, okay, so I'll create one class file, not package, right click, new class, and I'll call it eBay POM 3 style. Okay, so here it's similar to POM 2, but the only difference is the way you will define the elements. In POM 2 you were directly writing web element and then name. Here we'll use an annotation called find by. Okay, it's little slow. Yeah, at find by. Okay, here just give the web element. So private, then web element and name. Let's say first one is search box, so I'll keep it search box only. And in the annotation, when you are writing annotation, there are two ways you can use it. Okay, one is by using how and using, and second is directly giving the values. Okay, one more thing, my keyboard is not working properly, so this round brackets I have to copy paste from somewhere. I don't know what is the issue with it. Okay, so I at find by I did this. Now here you can use two things. One is how equal to how and using, and second is directly. So I'll give you a demo of both. Like here I can say id equal to, then give the value. For ebay.in, the uh, search box at id equal to gh-ac, right? So I'll just copy it and here I'll say gh-ac. So this is how you will identify web elements. Private web element search box, and then you're using at find by annotation and give the value like this. Okay. Similarly, others also you can use find by. Here also I'll put, again my round brackets are not working. Okay. So here I was directly giving the value. You can also use something like how. You have to take one from how dot so it's like this, how equal to how dot uh, okay, why it is not giving me an option? Not sure what is the issue. How equal to, okay, I'm not sure why it's not working. I'll check it, but exactly is the issue. But yeah, for now you can use the other way, that is id equal to give the value of id. So for the second one we have a drop down, so I'll select this drop down gh-cat, and it will be private web element and search box, and now it will be search category. Okay, next will be at find by. Again it will be id colon equal to round brackets. Okay, and for this one search box I have gh-btn btn, and here the web element will be private web element and then search button. Okay, and then after searching, after clicking on search button, let's say I search for anything and then I clicked on search button, I got this responses, right? So I'll search for it, and it has a, sorry, it has a class name as listing counts, right? So I'll just copy it, and here you can use at find by. Okay, again my rounded brackets are not working, so let me just copy paste the value. Okay, here it will be class name equal to whatever is the value. Okay, and it will be web element uh, result. Okay, I can keep it private. Okay. Okay. Rupesh, you're saying we can use XPath here also instead of X. Yes, you can use anything. Like you can use ID, class name, XPath, CSS selector, whatever you identify. Like all those 8 locators or identify, you can use any one of them. Okay, it's not that only ID or class name will work. All will work. Okay. Now here I'll create its constructor. So public eBay pom 3 style. Okay. Uh, eBay pom3 style constructor. Okay, I created its constructor. Now inside this constructor I'll keep it parameterized because we need instance of browser, right? So it will be web driver. Now we have to initialize all these web elements. See, currently I just have defined them. We have not initialized. So how to initialize? In Selenium we have something known as page factory dot init elements. So init element is to initialize elements, and here you have to tell on which browser you want to initialize. So I want to initialize on driver, and where are the elements? The elements which are on this particular page. This means the current page. So whatever web elements are there on this particular page, initialize all of them. Okay, so that's how it works. Is it clear? Any questions here? Anyone, any questions here? Okay, now here we need to initialize other things also, like text box and all. So let me quickly define them. Text box control, text box equal to new text box control. Then we need web element controls. So web element controls element equal to new web element control. Okay, then text box is there, web element is there. Next will be drop down. You need drop down controls. Drop down equal to new drop down controls, and done. Right now below you can write your scenario. So the scenario will be public void search item, let's say. Okay, so okay, and let's say you're searching for a product, maybe uh, product and category. Okay, here it will be, first of all you have to type something in this text box. So how you can type? It will be text box. Okay, my mistake. The thing is that declaration part should be outside, initialization part should be inside, because otherwise they'll not be available outside. Let me just declare them outside the constructor. Okay, Praveen, you have a question not getting initialization part. Okay, so what I'm doing is, see, in this particular page, in this particular class file, I defined some of the web elements, right? And then we need some of the variables also, which we defined in our common libs. Okay, we defined actions class, we defined common driver, drop down, JavaScript, and so on, right? So we have to use all of them now. So to use them, we need their instance. So I just created those variables here. Like I need text box control, I need web element control, I need drop down control. So I created uh, variables of them and initialized in my constructor. Okay, now you can use all of these like text box dot. Uh, what do you want to do in text box? You want to set text, right? On which web element? On search box, and what you want to write? Product. Okay, and all those things can throw exception, so I'll say throws exception. Okay, is it clear, Praveen, why I have initialized them? To use them later on. Any questions in this initialization part, anyone? Praveen, do you have any doubt here? Okay, what you are sending? Okay, fine, and by mistake it came. Okay, so do you have any questions here, like any doubt in this? Okay, fine. So I'm below, I'm just calling the methods like we did it in our previous form 2 style. So here, after writing something in this text box, next will be selecting from the drop down. So I'll say drop down dot select via visible text, and where you have to select on the search category, and what you have to select category. After selecting from the drop down, next is I have to click on search button. So it will be element dot click, and where you have to click on search button. After that, I have to get text. So to get text, we have element dot get text, from where the result, and this will gives us a string value. So I'll say string result equal to this value, and we'll simply print it. System.out.println result is result. Why it's giving error? Okay, I guess its return type is wrong. It's a string only. Okay, let me check the. Here it is get text. What is the issue here? What is the issue? Okay. Okay, so I was using same name, that was the issue. So this is how you will get the text. Okay, next is so yeah, now I've got the result. Okay, now what is the advantage of this one? Like what is the advantage of using POM 3 style over POM 2? Let's see. Before that, let's quickly demo this. Let's see if it is working fine or not. I'll keep this public static void main checked here, and rest everything is just like POM 2. So I'll just copy paste it from POM 2 to save time, and I'll change this POM 2 to POM 3, and here also I'll change it to POM 2 to POM 3, and here also it will change to 3. Right, nothing is changing, everything is same. So I'll just execute it. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, so I have invoked db.in, and now it will search for that web element. I mean, okay, so it has worked, and now it will print the print the result also. So you can see here the result is printed. Okay, and same thing if I do with POM 2, like this result part. Let's try it. The last part, that is private web element result. Okay, we'll initialize this result here. Result equal to driver dot find element by dot class name, and the value of class name was, let's copy paste from POM 3. Okay, now after searching for the category, like after clicking on that search button, next is I'm getting the text. So it will be element dot get text from the web element, which is result. Okay, and let's print it here only. Okay, so I'll execute this POM 3 POM 2 style. Where is, yeah, right click, run as Java application. So let's see how it works. So see here, it's still working. Okay, let me run it again. what happened. It's giving an action. Let me check. Yeah, see, it is giving me an exception that the class name this listing counts is not visible. Okay, so it has thrown this exception. Why? Because we are trying to initialize this web element, which is this result, in my constructor. Okay, at the time when page has just loaded, that time this particular web element is not there, right? So it will have a null pointer. It will throw an exception here that unable to find element. Why it happened? It happened because when this page was open, this particular web element is not there. So this kind of design pattern is famous or can be used when your website is a static website. All your web elements appear at the time of load only. Okay, it cannot take care of situation where your web elements are coming dynamically or after certain operation they are appearing. In that case, this fails. Okay, so for that we have this POM3 style. Now what happens in POM3? Okay, what happens in POM3? Okay, Rupesh, you have a question. Can't we use explicit wait? See, even if you'll use explicit wait, your web element is not going to appear. See, what I'm doing here is I'm initializing it, right? And before initialization, even if you put a wait, this web element will appear only after this search operation is done, till your click part is done, right? You have to perform this operation so that this web element can come, and then only even your wait will work. Otherwise it will just keep on waiting till your timeout and then will throw this exception. So this is not going to come at all. It will come only after this operation, but we are trying to initialize it before this operation in my constructor only. And when this constructor is being called, this constructor is being called here just after you open the browser, not after the search button, after the search method. Getting the point here? Is it clear, Rupesh? Okay, so let's come back now. What happens in POM3 style? Let me go to POM3. Yeah, here you defined all the web elements. Okay, you defined all of the web elements, and when you initialize it, actually it keeps everything in its cache. Okay, not in cache. It, like, what it do is you initialize them, and when you're trying to interact uh, with any web element, then only it will initialize it. See here, when I run it, during the initialization part, it got everything. It kept with itself, maybe in some cache or somewhere. It kept within itself, and when it was trying to interact with it, that time it initialized that web element. Okay, so like here, when I'm searching for this result web element, I'm trying to interact with it. That time only it went and searched for that. Okay, so that is what the difference between two is. In case of page factory, it will search again when it is trying to interact with it. In other, you were initializing it in the start only. Okay, Jasmeet, you're saying is there no solution in POM2 for this? Any workaround? Workaround can only be that initialization is not possible in case of in the constructor. You have to either do it later on, like whenever you're trying to interact with the web element, that time you have to do the initialization. Otherwise, use this POM3 way, that is page factory. and everybody is using page factory because it's very I mean not a very uh, easy to find a static website. Every website is a dynamic website these days. Agree to it? So everybody, like most of the people are using POM 3 style, that is page factory now, and is best choice also. Okay, any questions here? Okay, so let's come back to the article and where it is, I closed it. So in your interviews, if you have to tell which design pattern you're using, your answer should be we are using enhanced POM, enhanced page object model, that is page factory. And why you're using, just tell them that we are using a dynamic website and the web elements changes. So this helps us in identifying dynamic web elements. Okay. Now here one more question will might come, that initializing all your web elements again and again before interacting may make your solution slow. So is there a way that we can make it fast? Yes, there is a way. So that is our next you can say topic in it. So let me quickly explain you that. Here it is, page factory. Okay, so as I told you that benefits of using page factory is that elements of website are initialized when a page is loaded. There are some web elements which take extra time to appear on the page. If some operation is performed on those web elements, they are not available. In this scenario, page factory will search for those web elements at the time of interaction every time. That's what I told. That at the time of interaction, they will search for them again. Okay, and this solves the problem of state element exception. It's not state, it's tail element exception. Okay, stale element exception means like uh, okay, I'll give you proper example of it. For now, just let it be. Okay, Rupesh, you're saying web elements are initialized means uh, web elements are initialized means the value are put. Like here, you have defined these web elements, right? Where it is. Here you have defined all these web elements, but their initialization is done when it's initialization done. You're doing it in the constructor, right? Using this. Okay, so now some of them might have some values, some will have null values because the web elements which were available at that time will have a proper value, others will have null value because they are not available. They will come only when you try to interact with them. That time Selenium will search for those web element and initialize that particular web element with that value. Is it clear? Like here on this particular page, ebay.in, uh, in the starting, the search box was there, this drop down was there, this search button was there, but this result was not there. So all the other three things were initialized, or you can say values were assigned, whereas this one that time will have null value. When we try to interact with it, that time it will be updated with its value, that is by class name listing counts. Is it clear now? Okay, so let's continue now. Okay, so one thing is this: when you do have a dynamic web page, now like somebody might ask you that then it in that case it is something which is making it taking more time because the elements which are static, how you can make them first. Okay, so there is something known as at cache lookup, at cache lookup, cache lookup. Okay, so what it is, see, some web pages are static where web elements do not change. For those web pages, it is not necessary to search web elements again and again if there are multiple operations to be performed. Here, Page Factory provides cache management mechanism. An annotation called @cache_lookup keeps the location of web element in cache. There is no need to search the web element again. See the below code. So here what will happen, like these three, search box, category and search button, they are static. So what I'll do, I'll put an annotation @cache_lookup, okay, before all these three, because they are static for me, they are already available. Okay, and now if you'll interact with them, so what this page factory will do, it will keep all these web elements in a cache, and you don't have to search them again and again. It will directly take it from the cache and will interact with it. Okay, is it clear? This is benefit of using cache. I cannot demo it in this, like there will not be uh, anything to demo. It will remain same. Okay, Arun, you're saying please repeat cache. Okay, see, what I'm saying is the web elements which are static, which are available from the start only and are not changing, for those particular web elements you can use something known as @cache_lookup. What page factory do, it creates its own cache, keep all these web elements in that cache, and when you have to interact with any one of them, so you like Selenium don't have to re locate it, it will take it from its cache and interact with it. So in a way you are improving the performance, you are speeding up the interaction. Is it clear now? Okay, so yeah, that's all in design pattern. So we have three design patterns with us. You can use any one of them which suits your requirement. I'll recommend to use the last one, practice it as much as possible, so that in interviews you can say that this is what we have done, and why, you know the answer. You know answer because why we need POM3, because uh, to search the dynamic web elements which are not appearing in the start, POM2 cannot be used, or you can say that directly defining the web elements is not a good idea. So you use page factory in that. We use an annotation called @findBy. What is the benefit? Benefit is that every time when you have to interact with the web element, it will search for that web element before interaction. Okay, and another benefit you get is if your website is even static, then also it has a way to improve the it has a way to enhance the performance. What is that way? Using @cache_lookup. In @cache_lookup, it keeps the web element in its cache. When you have to interact with that, it will go and take it from its cache and interact with them. In that way you are enhancing the performance. Okay, rest every feature you're getting, like your web elements are proper abstraction you're following, all your web elements are not visible outside, only the functionality is visible to outside. Okay, only search item is visible. Okay, and just compare demo of POM2 and POM3. See, POM2 and POM3 are exactly similar, the way we are calling. Okay, it does not matter to us how this search item is implemented, right? So this is what abstraction is. This is what you can say data hiding is. Your functionality or your logic is not visible to outside world. Okay, any questions, any doubt here? Okay, then we can continue with this framework. Now we know all the three design patterns. Okay, now here I'll create a folder for our website. Like we'll be automating one website which is you might have seen it many a times, mercurytravels.co.in. I'll try to automate two of the pages. Okay, not completely by me, but what I can do is I can start with myself and then you can continue over it. Okay, so here I'll create one package and I'll name it Mercury Travel. Okay, in this let's create two pages, one for flight and second one for hotel. Okay, so here I can say first page is flight section, or let's keep it flight.java only. Okay, and second I'll create as hotel. So I'll just click on hotel. So this is the second page, right? So I'll create another class file, hotel. Okay, and one more thing you might have observed that few of the web elements are common on all the pages, like this flight, hotel, outbound, outbound holidays, Indian holidays, and this welcome guest, sign in, register, everything. All these things which you see are common, are shared by others. So let's create one class file and I'll name it Mercury Travel default page, or maybe home page. Okay, and once you click on sign in, again a new page is opening. So let's create one page for sign in also. Okay, and when I click on register, that's also a different page. So let's create this register also. Okay, okay, so we have created these 5 pages. Now this Mercury travel home page, this has web elements which are defined above, right? So let's define all those web elements. So I'll just click on Mercury home and we'll come back to our default page. Okay, and let me open it on Mozilla. Okay, so I deliberately taking a website which has multiple pages on it, so that you will get a proper idea how in real-time projects things are done. So real-time projects are exactly similar. There is no other difference. You'll have a page where you'll have these common web elements. For that you'll create one page which will have all the common web elements, and then you'll create others which are specific to a particular page, and so on. Okay, so here what are the different web elements? I have a flight link, so I'll use page factory only. So add find by, and here I'll say private, uh, then a web element, and let's say flight link. Okay, and how it is identified, let's quickly see. Basically it's a division, it's a link with this flight word, right? So here I'll say, okay, my round brackets are not working. have to copy paste from somewhere. Okay, uh, Rupesh, you have a question. In this framework, basically everything will be defined in common libs. No, see, common libs is different. See the package hierarchy. In common libs, we have all the Selenium related methods. Okay, then common libs interface is for interface. Then when I'm creating my classes, I'm creating inside Mercury travel package. It's not inside common libs. Similarly, we'll have a utility package also going forward. Is this answer your question, Rupesh, or you were asking something else? So here I'll say, Rupesh, is that answer your question? Okay. So I have this flight, then I'll just copy it. Next is hotel, so most probably it's that will also be hotel, and here it will be hotel link. Hotel link. Okay, like this, define others like outbound holidays and so on. I'll also define this sign in. Okay, so I'll say at find by. What is this sign by? How it is identified? Let me close it, otherwise I'll keep on opening this one. So this sign in has a ID, so I can use this ID. Okay, let me copy it. I'll change this to ID, and here it will change from this to this, and here we'll define private web element sign in button. Okay, after sign in button we have register button also. So let's quickly take the register also. So for that again we have a ID. So I can just copy that ID, or just a second. Let me copy it, and from here I'll copy the, and we have register button. Okay, rest I'm leaving for you. Complete other web elements. Okay, complete other web elements. I've just completed sign in, I completed registered, and flight and hotel. Okay, make it a full-fledged framework for you so that you can practice whatever you want. Okay, so all these web elements are done. Next will be, we have to initialize them, right? So I'll here say public Mercury travel home. Okay, don't we have an option? Okay, so I created its constructor. Now you need to pass instance of WebDriver. So it will be WebDriver driver, and here we have to initialize all these web elements, right? So I'll say page factory dot init elements, where on this driver, and which page you're talking about, this page. So all your web elements are initialized now, right? So any questions here? Like this, define all those classes, like declare all those classes also which are there in common libs. So it will be private. What do you need? You need text box control. Let's say text box, and then I'll say private drop down controls. So it will be drop down, and then so define only those which you require. No need of defining everything. Maybe I don't require drop down here, so I'll just keep it like this. Private, I need web element control, but so I'll define web element controls and I'll keep it as element. Okay, and let's initialize them in the constructor. So here I'll say text box uh, equal to new uh, text box controls, and then element equal to new web, uh, web element controls. Okay, uh, any doubt, anything which is not clear? Okay, now on this particular page, what all operations you can perform, let's write them also. So I am on my home page and I have these flight, hotel, then sign in, register. So what all operation I can perform? I can go to sign in button, sign in, like I can click on the sign in button and go to sign in page. Similarly, I can go click and register button. So let's write those methods also. So I'll say public void navigate to sign in page. Okay, so here I'm writing the method for sign in. Sorry, clicking on sign in. So here it will be driver. Okay, sorry, not driver. Uh, what do you need? Element dot. What do you have to do? Click on which web element? On sign in button, right? This is what I need, and this method needs to throw exception. So it will be throws exception. Okay, Rupesh, you have a question. Will not be using TestNG? No, we'll be using TestNG. Just wait for some more time. Okay, I'll introduce TestNG also here. Okay, even I don't need text box. I'm removing text box also. I just need this web elements. I'll keep this. Okay, next will be I can also click on register button. So public void navigate to register button. So here I'll just copy paste this, and here it will be register button. Okay, what else you can do on this page? Only on the above things. You can click on flight, you can click on hotel, you can add all those things. Okay, you can add all those methods, navigate to hotel, navigate to flight. Okay, similarly you can add the last one, one more, that is navigate to flight. And here I'll change it to flight link. Do you think anything else I can do here? If you think, please add that also. Okay. Okay, and Rupesh, you're saying register via Facebook. On register, there is no, it's just a link of your Facebook. It's not like if you open it, it's just a link of Facebook Mercury Travels. Okay, so if it will be through registration is possible through Facebook, then that link will be most probably will be here. Okay, so let's come back now. So this is what I can do. Others, if you think few more things you can do on this, you can add all those methods. Okay, and Rupesh, you have a question here. Also we can write all the methods in interface and then implement in other class, but I don't see any benefit out of that. See, the benefit which we were getting there was that, let's say if I have to change all these things later on, if some Selenium got some upgrade and methods were changed, um, or some other tool came up in the market, then we need to change this and make sure all the methods are there. Here I don't need anything like that. Here whatever you need, just keep on adding. Okay, here there is no requirement as such requirement, but if you feel that that way it makes more sense, you can do. But for me, I guess it does not make sense to have interfaces here. Okay, so we have done this. Next will be now next will be completing all these class files. Like you have this sign in, you have this hotel, you have this flight, and so on. Okay, so probably I can complete one. Which one you want? Let's start with register, right? Registration is something which I should do first. Okay, so let's do from here. Register page. Okay, so on this register page, I'll define all these web elements. Okay, and then all the methods also. So let's start defining the web elements. So we have this text box which has an ID. So we can directly use this ID. So it will be at find by uh, this round bracket is an issue. Okay, let me do one thing. Uh, Let me keep it here. ID equal to, and then this one, and then what is the name of that web element? Email ID. So I'll say uh, private web element, and then name, email ID. Okay, and here also it should be small id. Okay, Arun, you're saying can we have a break? Yeah, sure. I forget that it's 11:35. Okay, let's have a break for 10 minutes and then we'll continue with all others. Okay, so we can continue now. Uh, yes, Arun, I'm just completing some of the web elements, and then we'll continue with the other things. So give me some time. Uh, okay, so we have this email ID, and then we have password. Actually, my keyboard is stopped working, so I have to do a lot of other things to make it work. Like many of the keyword keys are not working. Let me copy it. Okay, so it will be password. Okay, at fine. Let me just copy. Okay, from the drop down, I'll just copy it. Title drop down, and then get a long form. Okay, first name. Okay, I guess let's do one thing. You can complete yourself this thing. I'll show you integration of TestNG for now. Okay, so do one thing, like this, complete all the web elements. Okay, and then write all the possible methods. So in this case, what will be the possible method for us? Filling up this form, right? Taking all the information from user and filling up this form, this complete form. So there will only be one method like this, and there will be one method to get the URL. Okay, so that verifies that okay, you have correctly moved to correct URL, and title also, that what is the title. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll integrate the test cases here. Okay, so here in this folder I'll create one more package, and I'll name it uh, maybe test cases. Okay, and here also we'll keep all our test cases feature wise. So I'll create one class and I'll name it Mercury, or maybe let's start with the registration one. So it will be registration test cases. Okay, and here we'll write all our test cases now. So first of all, uh, let's think in a user way that what you're going to do. Okay, first of all, you always need to open a browser, right? And then after that, opening a browser, you will verify the title of the page, opening the browser, and then you will navigate to a particular URL, and then you will execute your test case, right? So for that, what I'm doing here, I'm creating a class and I'll call it base scenarios. Okay, I'll go one by one, like not everything I'll do in once, because this is a long framework. If I'll do it in one go, you'll not be able to understand others. So I'll go one by one. See, in the base class, what I'm doing is this invocation part you'll do in everything, like in every test case. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll call before class from testng, and I'll call it as public void setup. Again, round brackets issue. Okay, I'll do setup thing. What we have to do in setup thing, first of all, we need instance of common driver class. So it will be common driver equal to new common driver, and which browser to invoke, let's say Chrome. Okay, and one more thing, this part we need inside, so it will be common driver equal to, okay, and it is expected to throw some exception, so I'll put a try catch here. Okay, after this I have to navigate to the URL, so it will be common driver dot open browser, and which URL, here string variable I'll define URL equal to http colon double slash, uh, let me copy paste the path. Okay, so I initialize it and same URL I'll pass here, right? Here for now I'm just keeping it e.print stack trace. Later on we'll add the screenshot part as well as that logging part here. Okay, so this is what I have to do in setup. Next, at the end, at after class, what do you want? You want to clear up anything, everything, so it will be clear up or clean up, I can say. Okay, and in cleanup, what I want, I just want to close the browser, so I'll say common driver dot close browser. Okay, and this is also expecting to throw exception, so I'll surround it with try catch. and it's done. So setup part is done, cleanup part is done, and both of them I'm keeping in base scenario because this is something which will be there in every class file. So what you can do, you can inherit it, you can extend base class, base scenarios. Now you don't have to write this thing again and again. Use of oops concept, reusability, right? And if something changes here, you don't have to change at multiple location, only one location you need to change, right? Now here I'll write my first test case, so I'll say test. Okay, here I'll say public void. What can be the first test case? You can say first test case can be navigating to a registration page. Okay, navigating to registration page. Okay, and so for that we need instance of which all classes we need, where we wrote our logic, the logic of clicking on or navigating to this registration, where it is, this registration we wrote in our generic method, in our generic class, right? So I'll create instance of where it is, yeah, Mercury Travel homepage. Okay, let's create its instance as homepage equal to new Mercury Travel homepage. Okay, and this particular web element needs driver instance. Driver instance we can get from driver dot get driver, sorry, common driver dot get driver. See, I don't have to create this variable again. Why? Because this common driver is already created in my base scenario, right? It was already initialized, so I just called the method get driver. And next you need is registration page. What name I've given? Register page. Register page maybe equal to new registration page. And here the method will be homepage dot, we wrote a method navigate to registration. uh, I guess I should name its I should change its name. There, sorry, in my here I named it navigate to registration, navigate to registration button. Instead of that I'll make it registration page. The name should also be such that just after looking at it you get to know what it is. Okay, and it is expecting to throw exception, so let's keep it in try catch, surround it with try catch. Okay, after navigating to registration page, we need to verify that this navigation is successful. How you can do that? By putting an assertion, right? Every test case must have at least one assertion. So assert dot assert equals, okay. Now how you can get this? Uh, One way is just write this getting title method on in this page, okay, registration page. So I'll do that. Registration page, here I'll write a method public void get title, okay, and it will be string return driver. Okay, sorry, uh, we need to create instance of web driver. Okay, let's do one thing, no need of defining here, let's call it directly here, because this getting the title is a common method, right? So I'll directly call in my test case. So here I'll say common driver dot get driver dot get title, right? And or there was a method get title in common driver class also, so you can directly use that. And expected is, what is expected title? You can get from the page after clicking on registration. Press F12. Okay, let me get the title. Here it is. Okay, so this is one test case I have written. Like this, you need to write all the test cases inside this classes. Okay, all end-to-end classes will come here. Now I'll execute it. Right click, run as test-ng test. Okay, okay. The one thing we missed, that is initialization of all the classes. Okay, so Mercury Travel I've initialized, I guess. Yeah, other I have not initialized. Let me quickly copy it. Registration page, I'll initialize it here, and this will be this. Okay, fine, it will work now. Okay, right click, run as test-ng test. Still it is giving an exception. Cannot instantiate class test case dot registration. Why it needs to initialize this? Okay, let me see what it is. What is the error? The initialization part only it is breaking. Okay, I need to check why it is failing. Probably I'll debug it later and will let you know. Okay, and Rupesh, you're saying it's too complex. Actually, these frameworks are written this way only. Okay, so once I complete it, then I'll explain you what is benefit of having such a thing. I mean, in real projects, it's like this only. You will have it's very simple actually. In real, I mean, if you'll see some of good frameworks, they are more typical than this also. Okay, I need to test why it is failing. Something related. I'm not sure why it is coming this like this. Okay, show console. Need to run it again. Okay, I'll debug it and will send you the reason why it's not working. But what we are doing here is, I'll explain you in brief. See, in Common Labs, first of all, we started with this interface. In that, we have so many classes, so many interfaces. All those interfaces are implemented in these classes. We still have to complete it. So you have a week now. You can complete all of these classes by your own. Okay, and let me know whichever you face issue. I'll also try to complete everything and will send you. Then we have this is just for your knowledge that we studied 3 POM veterans, and then we have this Mercury Travels, in which I created one class file for each page, and all the web elements are defined there, all the methods are defined there. Then this is was for test, and in the test cases section we have started writing test cases. Okay, so we are calling methods whatever is written in my Mercury Travels. Okay, like I was testing one registration test case scenario. So here wanted to test navigating to registration page. So I just called homepage.navigate to registration. This method is already written. So where it is written, it's written here, element.click, where you have to click on this. Okay, and like before executing this method, before class will be executed and before class is written in this, here we have this before class, I mean setup is done inside this. Okay, so that's the flow. Okay, and this complete flow I'll complete by next weekend. I mean the flow on the screen, I mean on the PPT, I'll complete by next class. But for now you can see whatever we have completed, that is there on paper. Okay, it's there on paper. Here you can see just a second. Yeah, here we have what happened. Okay, here you can see first of all we have separated out our Selenium methods. We have an interface in which all the interfaces are defined. All those interfaces are implemented by these classes. Then we are using these methods in our design, but I mean one of the class file. Okay, and then we'll have a test.ng folder in which we'll write our test cases. Then in these test cases we'll write all those test cases, and wherever you need data driven testing, so for that we'll add one more class in utility which will be our Excel driver class, which will read from the Excel sheet and will test your scenario. Okay, and all these test cases which you'll write, they will be huge in number, so that will be executed by your testng XML file. Okay, and so on. And also all the configuration related things will move to an Excel one external file, like here this email ID, sorry, this website ID and other configuration will move out to some txt file, and so on. Like this will make it a proper end-to-end scenario. It is a very big framework, will take some more time to complete. Okay, at least 2 more classes, rather 3 more classes I need to complete it, and then we'll also run it through Jenkins. Okay, Jasmeet, you have a question that Saurabh, if you want all test cases in Excel and next column yes or no to run, if yes, then only it runs and updates result. Maybe discuss it after POI. Uh, yeah, sure, but that will be something like controlling through your Excel sheet. That's like a hybrid framework. Okay, I don't want to keep that complexity in my Excel sheet. I can tell you how to do that, but I don't want to keep that there. I have XML files for with me. I'm using testng for that, so you can keep in testng also. I mean testng.xml file. Okay, and Rupesh, you have a question. Apart from existing package, what more needs to be added? Uh, so what all we need to add is like there will be one utility package which will be added, and that will add all the utilities like wait commands, then our Excel driver thing, and other like reading from a text file, reading from Excel sheet, and so on. So all those utility methods will add here. One more package will be added. What else? There will be one config folder which can be added. So all the configuration related thing will be reading from there. Then um, XML files will be added to execute all your test cases, and yeah, that's what we can do. Yes, Jasmeet, we can do through XML also. So I'll show you once I'll complete this, how to select your test cases from XML file. We'll write a separate utility in which from the XML will update yes or no, and based on that your test cases will be enabled, disabled. Okay. Yeah, so that's all for today. Actually, I am not sure it needs debugging, that why it is failing. I think it is something related to my testng version. I'll complete it and will send you an mail that why it's not working. And you can also try, I'll just mail you this framework in some time and complete everything which is remaining. Okay, it will be good if you all complete yourself, so that you'll also learn. Okay, so Rupesh, you're saying, so basically if someone asks to explain work framework on paper, yeah, it's not complete yet, but yes, this is how you have to define that. I have a separate I have a separate design patterns. These design pattern uses methods from there. Then I have test cases using testng. Uh, then from these page object model, I'm calling the methods to convert all those scenarios in a test case format, and then these test cases might be interacting with some config folder. So there is a config dot, I mean something dot properties file, config dot properties file maybe. Then we have for data driven, we have a utility written which is Excel driver, from that we are reading, and so on. So it will be a complete end-to-end flow. Okay, and Arun, you're saying in experience we have to add modular or a hybrid. So I didn't get your question, Arun. In experience, okay. And Rupesh, you have a question. Is log4j is library like testng? Yes, log4j is a library like testng. At the end, we'll also merge that into our framework to do the logging part. Okay, and Arun, you're saying, but many of them are asking, are you familiar with hybrid? Okay, just tell them this is a hybrid framework. Define this, explain it. If somebody is asking you that, have you worked on a hybrid? I think he's just coming from, I mean, he's just asking question because he has read somewhere on internet or so. I mean, people are not using hybrid anymore. Just tell them this is my hybrid scenario. How? Explain the flow. He'll get to know the answer because we'll also have data driven in it. Okay, we'll also read from some external files. Just tell them this. Okay, if HR is asking, then he has just read from somewhere, some internet blogs or anything. Because if somebody is actually working on some project, then he'll not ask you hybrid driven framework. He knows nobody is using. Everybody is using this kind of framework. And there is one more wrapper you can say is added over this thing people are using these days. That is uh, integrating cucumber framework. So after completing this course, you can learn that also and include in your framework. Okay, Rupesh, you have a question. Functional and performance testing are different. Can someone simultaneously work on both? Yes, I mean, how to answer it? Generally, performance testing person is different, functional testing purpose is different. But if your organization is small and they don't have a separate team, then a single person can also perform both the things. But separate suits are maintained for both. Like for functional, you will have something like this. For performance, some other tools are used. Just meet your question. People ask for API automation. Yes, that is also possible. Uh, I mean, not through Selenium, but through Java, or you can use JMeter. So you can learn JMeter to automate APIs. Actually, these days, so many things has come in market and everybody is looking for everything. Okay, Praveen, you are saying please send the complete diagram of framework. Give me some time. I need to identify how this framework will look like. I'm also developing along with you. Okay, so just give me some time. I'll try to make it in a way so that you can explain in interviews. Okay, and okay, Rupesh, you're saying can you share some real-time interview questions and diagram also? So interview questions I told you are there on website. Just go through the third section of that. You will get all the questions which are real time. And whatever you texted me, you and Arun both texted me, right? All those questions are answered in the third section. Just go through that. Arun, you asked the question that what is the biggest challenge you face while doing things. So all those things are mentioned here. Just go through this third section. See here, what type of test cases have you automated? Have you worked on any framework? Explain the directory structure of your project, how you handle logging in your project, and then different exceptions. What approach will you follow to pick up a date from date picker? Have you integrated auto ID? And have you heard of continuous integration, deployment and delivery? How to read from property file? Then what are the challenges you face while working with Selenium automation tool? Okay, have you ever worked with securely? This is one good interview question. Different types, different ways. This is a very common question. Different ways of finding dynamic web elements using XPath. and so on. Okay, so already mentioned, just go through them. Okay, and Rupesh, you have a question. How can you use contains and text together in XPath? Okay, I'll show you. We have mostly used with contain, I mean text and this both together only. Let me give you a demo. Let's say you want to search a link which has a word which contains what? Okay, brown bracket is not working. Which contains what? A text, and the value of text is mobile. So here is the example. Whatever element you are searching for, input, link, button or so on, then contains is the method in which you are asking an argument text, and then you are saying mobile. Okay, and just me, you have a question. If someone asks how you merge and maintain code, what shall we say? Okay, so for that you can learn Git repository. That is out of the scope of this course. You can learn something known as Git repository. It's an open source. Okay, just practice on that and you'll be able to answer those questions. I mean, just search for tutorials on Git and you'll get your answer. Okay, say you are using Git repository, or SVN also like this only. It's also a repository. For that you can just discuss with your developers. If any one of your developer is your friend, just go and ask from him and learn the steps. Okay, and Arun, you have a question. Except Selenium, what should we add in resume? Okay, add only those things which you are master in, like whatever you knows best. Okay, what people are searching these days is Selenium with Java or C Sharp, anyone out of two. Then they are also looking for people who has experience in BDD, that is Cucumber framework, or SpecFlow. SpecFlow is with C Sharp, Cucumber is with Java. Then people are looking who has experience in API, maybe API testing, and some are also looking for API automation. Yeah, these are three things I guess people are more looking. Okay, Praveen, you have a question. How to locate a web element which is changing dynamically without XPath? I have discussed it. It's a long topic. Can you just revisit the uh, uh, video wherein will we studied XPath? Okay, you're saying without XPath. How to locate web element which is changing dynamically without XPath? Okay, is it something asked in interview, or you are asking out of curiosity? Okay, then one way is using CSS selector and second way is using using JavaScript. Using JavaScript, even I have not practiced it a lot. So the second way without XPath is through JavaScript. Not practiced a lot, so you can uh, try it through JavaScript. Okay, and Rupesh, you have a question. How we will generate report in testing framework? This one which we saw while in TestNG. So we'll have a report using TestNG only. I mean, TestNG gives us a report. Here, if you'll just refresh your code here. Okay, TestNG is not working actually. I guess this issue is coming because of TestNG only. So generally you get a test output, right? So in that you have a report. So that is how you can generate. If you want a proper, I mean beautiful looking report, then there are free open source, some of the open source reporting utility available. You can use any one of them. and parallel testing is done through Selenium Grid. Parallel testing on multiple systems is done through Grid, but parallel testing can also be done through TestNG, which we saw as the last topic in TestNG. Okay, and Rupesh, you have a question in organization TestNG report is used generally. Generally, they are not very beautifully looking. So, what people do is they write their own utility to make it in a better way. Like you can use Java, you can write a utility in Java, you can read that HTML page and convert that HTML report into a better looking report. That is what you can do, or you can use some third-party extensions. Actually, currently I'm working in earlier I had that utility written in my framework. Currently I'm using SpecFlow. SpecFlow is a BDD framework, so that has an inbuilt reporting mechanism, and that is a beautiful one. Okay, Rupesh, your question, that was a multiple browser testing, multiple browser but parallel, right? If you remember, we had one scenario. I'll show you. This was the scenario: parallel execution on multiple browsers using TestNG. So here when you're calling, you have to pass one parameter, where it is here, parallel equal to test. So this makes your test cases to run parallelly. Okay, go through this article, you'll get the answer. Sure. Okay, anything else? In resume, what to add related to framework? Just explain your project. I mean, tell them that you have working experience in, or you just write down that you have developed frameworks from scratch. Mention this part. Generally in resumes related to framework, no need to add anything. Uh, okay, just mention your project and how you used Selenium in that. Just mention that. Okay, Jasmeet, you have a question. Can you add Java interview questions on QA? Yes, Jasmeet, I have to add. The only thing is I'm not getting proper time to do it. I've indulged in so many things that not getting proper time. After completing your batch, probably I'll not take any new batch and will complete the site first. I am only maintaining this. Earlier there was one more person, but she has written only 10 to 12 articles. After that I am only maintaining it. Anyone interested in maintaining this, I mean adding to it, is most welcome. Okay, anything else? Okay, Rupesh, it is written in which language? Actually, it's not a developed website. It's